The murder of Jeannette DePalma is one of the strangest and most controversial homicide cases on record, yet it is largely unknown outside the state of New Jersey. Many say this was by design. Rumors of a police cover-up originated only days after Jeannette's body was found atop a cliff, surrounded by supposed occult objects. If one side is to be believed, the teenager was one of the first victims of ritual occult murder in suburban America. If the other is taken, this case could be one of the earliest examples of satanic panic, years before Ricky Casso's murder of Gary Lauers, the McMartin preschool trial, or the West Memphis 3. Aside from a brief resurgence the following year, the story vanished from the newspapers only 2 weeks after Jeannette's body was discovered. But memories of the girl's death stayed fresh in the gossip of New Jersey residents for decades to come. For a time, it seemed likely this was where the story of Jeannette DePalma would remain, dying with those who knew her personally. However, in 1998, the offices of Weird NJ magazine received a letter regarding an alleged ritual human sacrifice in Springfield's Houdaille Quarry. The letter's author was unsure whether or not this sacrifice actually occurred or was pure myth, but the publication of his vague memory led to a rebirth of interest in this cold case. A few short years after the letter's appearance in Weird NJ, I started writing short pieces for the magazine. A decade would pass, however, before I began researching the case for this book. Leading up to this point, my co-author, Weird NJ's co-founder Mark Moran, worked diligently to bring as many facts about Jeannette's murder to light as possible, conducting interviews with her friends and family, and sifting through dozens of letters regarding the case, nearly all of which were mailed anonymously. Eventually, Mark hit a dead end, and the trail again went cold. I became familiar with Jeannette DePalma and the circumstances surrounding her murder in early 2012, while flipping through back issues of Weird NJ. In issue number 22, I found several pages devoted to the case, and I could not shake from my mind the mysterious death of this young woman. I began searching reel after reel of microfilm for articles about this supposed victim of murderous cult members. I then located the surviving investigators who had worked Jeannette's case. While many were willing to speak on the record with me, others were less than enthusiastic, to say the least. I also tracked down many of Jeannette's friends, along with members of the DePalma family, spending countless hours meeting with them and conducting interviews. It soon became apparent that, despite the many years that had passed since the teenager's death, a multitude of her friends and acquaintances were still terrified of whoever was responsible for the horrible act. A significant number of these people would speak to me only under the strictest conditions of anonymity. This required several names to be changed within the text. These names are marked with asterisks. Armed with a wealth of new information about the case, Mark and I decided to team up and write the definitive account of this incredibly strange cold case.